Hey everyone, welcome back to Rebellious Minds. Today I had a few messages that came in, and I'm gonna just get into it. I'm looking down at my notes because I wrote it down this time. But first of all, I want to say, like this video, because when you like it, it'll circulate. And this is not me doing this for just myself, but it's me doing this for all of us so that we can collectively grow, expand, and receive what it is that God's source spirit has for us. And I used to be afraid to do this, even though I have a lot of videos made. I always had nerves, and I still kind of do sometimes, because it's kind of me stepping outside of my box, stepping outside of the box of what I'm used to, of what I was brought up into. But I have built my own relationship with spirit, and I can hear. And now I realize that that's not me tripping, or that's not me, going crazy, because it kind of goes against what I was, or what we collectively also have been taught to, believe that crazy was, or tripping, or how you receive messages from God. Now I trust it, and that's the difference now. So starting off, I wanted to, because I never made a video talking about what Rebellious Minds was in the first place. I hope y'all can hear me. Talking about what Rebellious Minds, how I created it. And even me saying that, to be real with y'all, even me saying how I created it, it's like, makes me feel weird, because the insecurities, okay? And just how triggering some words are, and how I realize it's triggering. Like, I never gave myself the props. I never gave myself the props that I do create things. Like, I'm capable of creating. Like, I create, and I created Rebellious Minds with the help of spirit. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do it without spirit, and without me being in a place and allowing spirit to just go ahead and dwell in me and live through me, like, truly and honestly, and be more present in my life than my flesh is. Because at the end of the day, my flesh is still here. As long as I'm here in this realm, I'm still human. But anyway, going all over the place. So Rebellious Minds was created to put out into the atmosphere that we are no longer going to allow our thoughts, in our mind, to be infiltrated with the lies, the old thought patterns, the old habits that do not serve the God, the source, and the higher spirit that lives within us. And meaning that, all the old ways of thinking about ourselves, all the old ways of thinking about the world, I had to break down, and I had to let go of a lot of the ways that I thought about myself. A lot of the ways that I thought about myself only because other people told me about myself, and I allowed other people to tell me about myself, and I believed it. I believed the world when they told me that I wasn't pretty enough. I believed the world when they told me that I wasn't light enough. I believed the world when they told me that I needed to, go to college and do this and that to be seen as smart, brilliant, successful. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that that does not make you successful if you do so, but that I had to release the thought process to obviously observe it first, and to release the thought process that is the main way, that is the only way. And I had to release the fact that if I do not do life that way, then that makes me not enough, not good enough. And sometimes a lot of the time we walk around in life, like not even realizing that we think a certain type of way because somebody else taught us that way, that somebody else told us to think that way. That we learn basically everything we know from our environment, from the people that we were brought up by. Not in a bad way. I have a child, and some things that I may do or teach him may not be the best way for him when he is able to make decisions on his own. So he may go another way. You know what I'm saying? But I can say that my foundation was, I remember what my foundation was at the end of the day. I got out of being religious, which kept me in a box, being religious, of thinking one way and thinking that I can only get to God in one way, and that way was the only right way. I got out of religion to go back home, to find home back into myself, and to, realize that, God is seen and can work through any path. It doesn't matter. And nobody had to tell me that. I found that out by myself. I found that out on my own by having a relationship and stepping outside of the box, taking action, and becoming curious about the feeling that I was feeling within myself, and about the call that I was getting, the call back home. So yeah, it's been time. I didn't realize that, where Spirit was doing with me. I started this channel, I think 2021. I think it was 2021. I don't know. I know it was sometime around when the pandemic started, or after, or a little bit before, or something like that. I really can't remember whatever my first video is. I know it's only been like a couple of years. But I did not know what Spirit was about to do with me, to do, and how Spirit was about to work through me. And so after a while, I started realizing, like, okay, it's time to change my thought process. Like, I just started looking at things and the things that people said, and I really just started paying attention to the way that, I was doing things, the way that other people in my life were doing things, and thinking, dang, like, and it just so happened to start with, within the church for me, within the religion that I was in. And I started getting curious about it, and I started questioning, and what I was always told not to do. But that's funny that me being curious and me questioning brought me closer to God. So that's when I really started realizing, like, dang, our minds are so, like, messed up. Like, we are all messed up. We've all been tricked. We've all been bamboozled, and we all been going and not paying attention, and not really being the people that we thought that we were being, saying that we love God and we follow God. But I realized that no, I really wasn't being that. Like, I wasn't even staying true to myself. If I'm not staying true to myself, how could I have been staying true to God? I wasn't. That's why there was no consistency, because I wasn't consistent with myself. My mind was all over the place. I was following the way of the world more than I was following, the gift, the message, the word within me. We no longer believe that we are not worthy enough, talented enough, bold enough, smart enough, attractive enough, light enough, dark enough, etc. At the end of the day, none of that matters, for that is the thought of the flesh that we have allowed to consume us. It is time for our minds to be rebellious to the trickery we have been food to. So I said all that to say, that was just a message that had came in, that, just to explain where I got Rebellious Minds from. That was the source. That was the foundation of Rebellious Minds, for me to be an assistant and to serve God always wanted me to use my voice. God always wanted me to use my voice, and I only knew one way of using my voice though. And that was singing. I've always been a singer. I was raised in, singing. I just always have sang. That's something that is in my family. It's in my bloodline, for musically inclined. Like that's me. And that was the only way that I knew how to use my voice. My throat was so closed off from even speak. I didn't defend myself. I didn't know how to defend myself. I stopped speaking. I stopped defending myself. I stopped saying how I felt. I stopped being real. I stopped being honest. Because I always got in trouble for it. And I'm not saying that, at the end of the day, I'm not saying that anybody is wrong, that I was not disrespectful as a child. I may have been. I didn't know how to use it in the correct way. I didn't know how to express myself in a way that, that didn't come off, I'm going to say, disrespectful. That's the only words I can think of right now. So, with what was thrown back at me, me getting in trouble for it, or me not being loved so much for how I felt, me not being so loved so much for my voice, except for when I was singing, I stopped using it in that way. And, and now I'm just thinking about it like, dang, like God has me using my voice, still with singing. I don't sing out anymore like that, but the call was for me to use my voice in a different way, and for me to speak, and for me to serve, everybody, the collective, for the people who want this, for the people who hear this call within them. And that's all I'm worried about. All of us that are hearing this, that hear the song. It's a song playing. It's a sound that you can hear, you can feel the sound. And you only know this if you are on this path, period. I know that eventually, all of us will get there, but that's what Rebellious Minds, that is the foundation of Rebellious Minds, for us to take our voice back, for us to take our minds back. I am not who you said that I was. I am not who they say that I was. Okay. And then I got another message. This was not any, this was a little bit, I just got random stuff. Something was like, God was like, write it down. When your mind is clear, you see clearly spiritually. Then you are able to see the truth. The truth is what is true for you in the mind. The truth is what you build and create for yourself through the mental. So what do you see? Right? So I can see, I have many friends, many people that I know who, you know what? I'm not going to say it like that. I'm going to say this. What I mean by when your mind is clear. So when your mind is clear, meaning really observe what you're thinking throughout the day, right? Like you get this feeling and then there's a thought that goes with it, right? So if I feel nervous, if I'm going into an interview and I feel nervous, my thought process may be, oh my God, what if this person doesn't like me? What if the hiring manager doesn't like me? What if they don't like me? What if I don't sound smart enough? What if I, then you just start going all over the place, and then you start to low-key believe that stuff. You know what I'm saying? You start to low-key believe that stuff, and then it goes internally, and then it just starts flowing all through your body, your mind, and just on a daily, we're like subconsciously thinking that we're not good enough, that we can't do this, that we can't do that this is hard for us. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, that I'm not going to be able to pay this bill. What am I going to, it's consistent worry. It's consistent heaviness on the mind. whether we realize that we're doing that or not. And so we have to sit with ourselves. We got to sit with God. We got to sit with Spirit Source and go into meditation. I don't care how your meditation is. Me personally, I don't think that meditation goes the same way for everyone. Your meditation could be you listening to music, blasting music on your AirPods. Mine personally, I love to sit in the dark. I like to sit in the dark in the morning where it's quiet, there's no noise, like early in the morning, black, dark. I like that. That's my favorite thing to do as far as going into meditation, so that I can hear my thoughts. I can pay attention to my thoughts. I can see my visions. You know how randomly, I'm gonna be honest, sometimes, I could be driving sometimes and then I can think, oh, I'm going to get in the car. Like, I can see a picture of me getting in a car accident. And I got to return that thought to sender. I got to return that vision to sender. Because whatever energy or force that is trying to infiltrate my mind, see, it'd be little easy stuff like that we don't do anything about. Because obviously we don't know better at the time. So right then and there, you got to break that. You got to be able to know, to return that to sender. That's not normal. That's not you thinking that you're going to get in a car accident. You know what I'm saying? That's not a regular thought process that we should get used to. So when you have a clear mind, then you can visually, you can spiritually see what source, what God is trying to show you. You can hear it. You can hear what God is trying to say, is what God is saying to you. And you can feel it too. So we have to clear out. We really got to go into meditation. I don't know any, other way, honestly. That you can, whatever takes your mind there, where you can be able to observe the thoughts that you're having and just sit with yourself and think those thoughts and realize that they're there and not ignore them, because that's where we mess up. We start ignoring them, and then we thinking everybody on this positivity wave. Oh yeah, just ignore it. You gotta always be positive. No, I don't, because I don't always feel no, that's not being real. Why do I always have to be positive in order to make you feel better? Because you're low-key ignoring your feelings. You're ignoring what you feel. You're ignoring the real you. No. If I don't feel like that, I don't feel like that. If I don't see that at the moment, I don't see that. But we got to learn how to turn that around. And I feel like, sitting with God in your own way, whatever, that's your own relationship. And that's why it's important for you to build that with Source, with Spirit, with God, so that you know how to do so, how to turn it around for yourself. Because we have everything we need already. People think we're just here just to be here. You have everything we need already, right? To be able to expand, to grow, to evolve, if you want that. So the truth is what God told you the truth is. The truth ain't what the church say. The truth ain't what the pastor say. That ain't necessarily the truth. That's their truth, maybe. Sure. They're telling you their truth. But the truth of the truth, how are you going to tell me what my truth is? That's not what God told me. God ain't tell me that. And you can't tell me what God told me. You can't tell me what messages that God put within me, because I got a whole different type of relationship. We two different people. We're two uniquely different people. And you can't judge that either. I mean, you can do what you want, but at the end of the day, it probably isn't benefiting you. And I'm probably triggering you because there's something giving you the call too, but you're not listening. So you have to be able to see the truth that God has put within you, that God is trying to speak through you, trying to move through you, so that you can live in the essence of that energy, if that is what you desire to do at the end of the day. So what do you see? Be real with yourself about what you see in your mind. I also put here, so what do you hear? What is the word? When you truly follow the word, there is life. The word, the real word, is the message that God, source, higher spirit has put within you. That's the word. What word is God putting you? What song are you playing? What's your verse? Right? What's your verse in the song? And then this last thing, I don't even remember what I put, y'all, so I'm just gonna read it, and if it don't make sense, I guess I'll I don't know. I believe that it's gonna make sense, obviously, because this came from my spirit. So I wrote, a lot of us don't like to be alone because our thoughts are so infiltrated that we are afraid to observe what we have allowed to create a form in our minds and even our bodies. 9 times out of 10, your thoughts are not your own. They are the thoughts of others and the commands and spells that a forceful energy has planted within us. Forceful, but at the same time, very sneaky, discreet, and slick. Who told you what you know about yourself? Who told you what you know about life? I'm going to read this. To observe what we have allowed to create a form in our minds and even our bodies. So our thoughts literally create a form, meaning it creates our reality. And it can form as a blockage in our bodies. Sickness. See, people think that sickness comes from, you're not taking care of your body, you're not eating right. I'm not saying that is not true. It can very much so be that, for sure. What I know is that from my own feeling and experience, I have not necessarily been sick with any disease, so I want to not even say my experience, but just from things aching in my body, right? For instance, I remember I had a fear of like moving forward with something. I had a fear of like stepping into something to like just trying something new. That's a big thing for me. Trying new things is really, it shakes me up. That rocks me. And I remember like my back was hurting, like my lower back was hurting so bad, like, and I don't get back, like, I don't complain about my body hurting. Like, I'm not, my knees and stuff, like, so when it's something going on with my body, I check in first. Like, I really check in with myself first, and I make sure that, let's see what's going on in here, because I don't get aches and stuff like that, just for no reason. And no, I don't exercise like that unless, I feel a push to, go and work out this week or do some exercises or something. But just stuff like that, like the fear was almost forming, a pain in my back. Like it was something that I needed to release, or I can't even all the way explain it. That's how I can explain it. That's how I experienced it. And then when I remember when that thought process, when I let it flow, when I dealt with it, like it was like I forgot my back was hurting. Like it just it went away. And no, it wasn't aching pain, like my back, like I felt like I was going to pass out. No, but I know my body, and I know that I don't get like aches and pains and stuff like that for no reason. So that's one example how we let, things block us. Just imagine you letting heartbreak, block you. You just let, someone has hurt us so bad, and we have not let go of that experience. We have not let go of that situation. Like it can literally form problems because it's almost like it's just stuck. It's stuck energy that we never let flow. We never let it let it go. We never observed it. We just ignored it. We just ignored our feeling. And that's another thing we're taught to do, ignore our feelings, because it comes off as weak. If we, we're all always trying to make it seem like we are, just doing so great in life. No, I got shit going on. Like I got stuff going on. I'm nervous right now. I don't know how I'm going to pay my rent. I don't have it all the way. I had some stuff go on, and I need something to shift for. Like, we go through stuff. So, and that's where we come back. If I go back to the mind, like, that's where we have to be able to not allow our flesh to overtake what God is trying to do for us. Like, we really got to build that. And I don't care what nobody say. I'm not all the way there yet. Some stuff still gets to me. And I don't know what's going to happen in the future. But I'm going to say this and go, because I feel like I'm kind of all over the place. I hope y'all understood my point. And the messages came through clearly to those of you who are in this with me, consciously and unconsciously, whatever. So my father right now is sick. And my family never been through anything like this. This is very new for my family, for me. And it hurts. It hurts because my dad was, he was the son. And I say that so funny, he's a Leo. And he showed all aspects of it and the energy just of the, of the zodiac or whatever, of the sign. I just noticed and I realized, now that I know a little bit something about him, about the signs. But he's a Leo, and he's that light. He just shined. He did him. He was active, and he just was my daddy as a daughter. He was my daddy. And then he also very intellectual. That's that Aquarius. Very intellectual, knows a lot of information. Didn't really, everybody doesn't know that he has all this information, but he knows a lot of things. Very smart. Very, very, like I said, intellectual. Reads books. Loves to watch things. People having conversations, different conversations. Roland Martin, that was his dude. So at the end of the day, it's very tough to see my daddy going through this, and and out of all of that to say, I could get down in the dumps. I could get depressed. I could get, I could give up. I could give up on thinking that all is going to be well anyway. And that would be the normal response. That would be the hurt response. That would be the fleshly response, I believe. I think. I know that would be the fleshly response. And I'm not saying that it's good or bad. Some people, you may have to go there sometimes to get to God. That's the beautiful thing about it, right? Sometimes you gotta go there to get to God. And I guess that's what the wilderness would be. I don't know. But I am so strong in thanks to Source, so strong in my foundation and my knowing on who Spirit is, on who God is, that at the end of the day, and I'm not going to be selfish, and I had to learn this. This is some real stuff, and I don't know. This is real stuff right here that I had to come to a conclusion about. We like to pray, for our family to get well and things to get better for them and you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that that's a bad thing or not, but most of the time that's for ourselves. That's for ourselves. That's because we are afraid. We are afraid of what may happen in the future. We are afraid of who we may lose. And I learned that I have to pray that spirit, that God, source does its will. That spirit does its will. Not what I want, but truly that spirit does its will. And, going back to the mind, like I said, I was going to say that I could get depressed, I could get down. I have all the right to. My whole family has all the right to. All of us has the right to. But this is the good thing about knowing spirit, source, God, that at the end of the day, no matter what happens, I truly know in my heart, in my soul, in my guts, I can feel it, that at the end of the day, all is going to be well and all is working out. And this is a lesson. And I've really been trying hard going through this with my dad, really been trying to think, out of my body and what is the lesson? What is there for me to learn? What is there for me to learn in this situation? What are you teaching me? What is the lesson for my family? Instead of focusing so much on, daddy, he's sick. Like, we know that already. Right? So I'm not going to stay stuck on it. I'm going to allow spirit to do what spirit does. Allow spirit to show itself. And allow spirit to show itself through the lesson that is being taught within my family dynamic, within, myself. Like, there's something for me to learn here. And that's what I'm sticking with, instead of going down that road of sadness, of depression, of letting those things attach to me and stick to me, because those things it's not helping. It's not doing anything for me, but digging me deeper into a hole. Right? And I know that that's not what spirit, I know that's not what God has for me. So, all of that to say that, you guys, it's time for us, to truly decide, like, whose side are you? Like, what side are you on? Like, who are you working with? What are you working with? What are you doing? Pay attention to yourself. Because things are happening. And we're going to need to have that foundation. We're going to need to be able to be firm. We're going to need to be able to use our gifts and the things that God has put within us, or that we're just born, that is our birthright. It's not even that it was put in us. We come from that source. So if that source has everything for me, and I come from that, why do I not think that I have everything that I need to survive this, to live through this, to get through these hurts, these pains, these things that help me to grow, these things that help me to expand? The experiences that we go through are meant for us to grow, expand, to continue to use what we were born with. It's not for us to be stuck. Right? These things like money and cars and houses, and I'm not saying we don't need those things. While we're here, we definitely need them, for sure. But that is not what we were here to think about, to worry about. Those are tools for us to be able to survive here. Those are just things that we are to be able to use, not depend on, right? Not depend on. And that's what messes us up, because we depend on those things more than we depend on spirit. And then we find ourselves lost. We find ourselves following this thing, following that thing, thinking that we are going with God, but we're not. We really made money our idol. We really made our house our idol. We really made our husband our idol. We really made our wives our idols. Our children are idols. So it's time for us to know something, y'all. Know something. So, like I said, I hope that, that all made sense, but that was in my spirit. And, yeah, I'll see you guys next time Spirit gives me a message. Have a good day. Love y'all. Bye.